Hey, welcome back to another video. We're going to be going over some stock levels. This is Alexander Investment Insights. Today we're going to be going over the S&P 500. We're going to be going other stocks like Meta and Google. In fact, we're going to go over AMD and Nvidia. And we might even go over the gold sector like Barak Gold, and then other stocks like Robinhood and PayPal. And a lot of other stocks, even like Nike with the Olympics going on, and maybe some things that might be happening with that. But first, we're going to start out, as always, with the S&P 500 and the levels that I got on there. So we have this resistance here at 550.25, and then I have two supports here since I'm getting bearish on the S&P 500 at 537.35 and 535.45. So you see here on Friday we had a retracement back up to the upside, so we've been coming crashing down, and obviously we might be due for some retracements back to the upside. We found resistance here around 547.60. That's where S&P found resistance, and then came back to where it ended at 544.40. So that's what I'm looking for on the S&P 500. We do have a big week next week. Matter of fact, if we go to the trading calendar here, we don't have any big news on Monday, but on Tuesday, 30 minutes after the market opens, we have CB Consumer Confidence and JOLTS job openings. Two big news there. And then on Wednesday, we have ADP non-farm employment change, as well as employment cost quarter-to-quarter index 1 hour before the market opens, and then 30 minutes after the market opens, we have pending home sales month-to-month, and then federal fund rates, Fomc statements 2 hours before the market closes. So Wednesday is a very big day for news. We're going to want to see how price reacts to all of this news, which direction is it giving us, where it's finding support and resistances, and all types of things. Because Wednesday I expect to be a big day with all that news going on. Lots of movements going on Wednesday. And then Thursday we have unemployment claims 1 hour before the market opens, along with ISM manufacturing PMI 30 minutes after the market opens. And then Friday, 1 hour before the market opens, we have average early hour earnings, non-farm employment change, and unemployment rate. So Wednesday, I'm going to be really taking a big look at that, see how price reacts there. So these are your three levels on the S&P 500. We did come booming down since that high, right? And we're getting some pullbacks up to that upside, so we can find resistance and then perhaps maybe come back down to find some supports. We are looking a little bearish on the S&P 500 right now, so just gonna want to see if these supports hold or break. We'll be trading to these supports as long as price is coming down to those supports, right? That's what I'm looking for on the S&P 500. We go to IWM. IWM finding our resistance here at 224.50 again, right? And I still have support here at 214.75. I will keep those two supports and resistances there just in case. I will put another Y level right here on IWM, and I'll put that at this level right here just in case we start heading back down and we want to find support to go to 217.73. These white levels are kind of other targets, but these red and blue levels, resistance, red, support, blue, are the ones you should really be looking at. SKQQ having a bit of retracement back to the downside since SPY came back to the upside. So this 953 level is still holding in, this 842 level still holding in. Bitcoin finding resistance right here at $68,000. So we still have our two supports and then our one resistance here. So just kind of want to see how it reacts, if it's going to keep booming to that upside and then find our resistance, and we'll see how price reacts to that $72,100 level, which is our major resistance on Bitcoin. If we zoom out, it does not want to break that. Now let's go on to the bigger plays, the options trading that I'll be looking for, in the morning while I'm scalping. On Apple here, I have that $222.75 resistance and $213 support. Pretty easy on there. We're coming down on Apple. It looks like we're finding support around here between this 217 and 213 level. So we're just going to want to see if it wants to come down and reach this level right here. See how it has found support at this 215 area. I'm just looking at that 213 area, and I want to see how price reacts there. And I still have resistance at 222.75. Microsoft coming and hitting our support and then bouncing back up at 417.75. So, and they do have earnings July 30th, so they do have earnings on Tuesday. There's a lot of earnings this week, and that is going to affect the S&P 500. A lot of these big companies have earnings this week and next week, so just going to want to watch out for that, and I'll include them in this video, which ones are and which ones are not. So we're going to Google. Google had earnings last week. It hit our support perfectly of 163.70. You see how it didn't want to break that? It went right back up to the upside, practically to where price ended on Thursday. So we're going to want to see if they're going to keep that retracement back up to the upside to around 171, 173, or if they're going to continue this downside movement and hit our support once again at 163.70. Meta having earnings on Wednesday also this week, so we're going to want to see how price reacts to that. I have resistance at 4.79. I have support at 4.45. You see how we did hit that support on Friday or on Thursday, and then we bounced back up, retraced to the upside. So we could have a little bit more retracements back up to the upside. Just going to want to see how price reacts there on Monday. Since we don't have any news on Monday, we could stall out a little bit back up to the upside, stall out. So we'll see how price reacts there. Nvidia slowly coming down. See how it had a lower high than it had then. They're coming back up, lower high than it had then. It's coming shooting back down. So we might see a resistance hit of 122 again before we come back down to that 106 support level. So these are the two support and resistances I do see on Nvidia. If we get down to that $100 between $90 level, that'd be a great indication to start buying long-term shares on Nvidia again. So I'm just going to put it there and make this a buying level right here. It's pretty important because Nvidia, if you believe in the AI sector, then you should believe in Nvidia. We're just having a bit of retracements back here to the downside. So that's what I'm going to be looking there for on Nvidia. If we go to Tesla right here, Tesla hasn't broken out of either of these two levels. And remember, I put this white level here just in case. I wanted to see if it's either going to break out to the upside past 226 or if it's going to break down to this downside past 214. Either way, it hit that white level, did not want to break it, and it's still trading between these two levels after the earnings. So 207 support, 226 resistance. That's what I see on Tesla. Amazon kind of sticking around that 179 support. You see how it hit that other support at 176 and it bounced up, a bit of retracement to the upside. Like I said on Monday, we don't have any news. We could expect a little bit of upside before the news comes out Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Right? So Wednesday especially. So that's what I see on Amazon, that 188 resistance. It could be another resistance right around here. I'm actually going to move this resistance down to right here at 186.85. So 186.85 is our new resistance on Amazon. I'll be looking for that to trade if you do start retracing back to the upside, right? So two supports, one resistance there on Amazon. Netflix, kind of starting to look bearish since we're not breaking this resistance of $650, and we do have support here at 628 and another one at 604. So I'm looking for that on Netflix. Yeah, we've been trending up, but since we've been coming down and it hasn't really even wanted to retrace back up to that upside, really just a lot of down movements. So I could be starting to play Netflix to the downside, buying puts, shorting the stock. There is ways you can make money when stocks goes down. I actually had to explain my father this. He doesn't know that you can make money on the downside too, and it's actually quite simple. Every single trading brokerage just buying a put instead of buying a call, right? So we go to AMD. AMD is looking very bearish right now. I do have support here at 233 and then resistance right now at 156.70. So we're just going to want to see. They do have earnings on Tuesday. Like I said, a lot of earnings coming around the corner, big earning season. We're going to want to see if this either shoots AMD up, back up here, or if it's going to bring AMD pumping down to around the 120s level. That's what I see on AMD. Intel having earnings on Thursday. So they're kind of at our support right now. See how we had a big shoot up? Because we were stalled in this level for a long time. Shot up. But what it's done since then just came right back down to where it wanted to start at. So they're at a support at $31.28. But I want to see how that reacts. We might have a little retracement back up to the upside right before earnings, which maybe we could play. Depends on how I see it. Disney coming back down once again. Finding support at our support now here at $88.80. We're going to want to see if they're going to shoot back up, just a little bit of retracement before the upside, or if they're going to keep crashing down to around the $86 level. They have support on next week on Wednesday, so not this week, but next week. Dell finding support at a 109.40 level. I do have this buying level down here at $100. If Dell wants to come between $100 and $95, I'll start loading up on shares for the long term on Dell, because that's a pretty good buying level right there. I think that's a 80. Let's see it, like an 80% drop. Let's see how. Well, I had like a 45% drop from that all-time high to where you would buy it right there. And a 45-50% drop is pretty good. I heard this one quote. It's like, stocks are the only thing that people are afraid to buy when they're 50% off. If shoes, if clothes, if beds, if anything consumer you want 50% off, oh, I want to buy that. When a stock is 50% off, for some reason, it's the psychological effect where people get scared of it. Oh, it might keep going down. It's 50% off. You might want to evaluate the financials of the company, but more than likely it could be a buy, right? It's kind of psychological effect when you're trading. So we'll go to PNW. Has a strong resistance of $338, and then I have support here at $321, which we've kept hitting from the downside. Kind of just been for the last couple weeks, just trading between these two levels. But if this level does break at 321, I'll trade it to 312. If we could get that on some nice scalps in the morning to the downside, that could be great. We are finding PNW either like jumping down off that earnings and then coming back up, but they do have a strong resistance there at 338. So that's what I see on PANW. Let's go to Coinbase. Coinbase coming down since Bitcoin was kind of stalling out, but found support there at 226. They do have earnings on Thursday this week, so we're going to want to see how price reacts to that. I don't imagine it's going to have a massive jump off earnings. It's really just going to follow kind of the direction of Bitcoin, since when Bitcoin's coming up, you expect more inflows to come into these stocks like Coinbase and Robinhood. You know, if Bitcoin starts booming, I might expect Robinhood to start booming as well, because we see a lot more inflows coming into that sector as well. So that's what I see on Coinbase and Robinhood. We go to SMCI. SMCI still at our support of 694. Finding that support and just kind of have a small retracement back to the upside. So that's what I see on SMCI. I'm not gonna move this resistance yet until we either break this support. I do have a buying level at 650. If SMCI does get down there, I might start getting some long-term shares for SMCI, because that could be a nice low gain. That would be 50% down from its highs. 45% down from its highs. Once again, could be a nice little buying level there. See how it hit right there and then went back up to the upside. And kind of just been stalled between these two ranges. It's a big range, but and you could hit that and get plays on the upside or the downside between these supports and resistances. I'm just trying to see which one, if this support breaks. And they do have earnings next week on Tuesday. Not this week, but next week. Let's go to Datadog. Datadog breaking our support at 122. So I'm going to have to move down support here to 116.50. I'll just call it 116. 116 is our support. And then I'm going to bring resistance down as well. And our resistance now is going to be 124. So 124 resistance, 116 support. And we're just going to want to see how that happens. They have earnings next week on Thursday. So we're just going to want to see if they're going to come back up to that resistance or if they're going to break this support and then start heading even lower on that. So that's what I see on Datadog. We'll go to Snapchat. Snapchat's been very, very bearish lately. Not really able to find any support. You see that they had support here, and it broke down to that downside. So I'm kind of just expecting more downside on Snapchat. So I'm gonna move support there to $12.50 while I eliminate these other resistances. So resistance is not really clear right now, but I'm gonna move it right here to $14.50, and then they do have earnings this week as well, which could either blast them up or shoot them back down. You see how they had these huge price movements between these two earnings, blasting us down, kind of stalled out, and then blasting us back up. So they're moving very heavily off of earnings, and you know, we had a high here of $85, and since then just boom, right back down. So there's really not much you could do on Snapchat until, you know, it starts breaking even more resistances on the upside. So that's what I see for Snapchat. DJT, you know how it came back right, popped up off that shooting, came right back down to where it started at $30 is our support, 317 $1.15 is our resistance. So if DJT can find support and start getting us back to the upside, I might get shares to hold it short term, or a little bit of swing options short term, just to maybe find us back up to that resistance or like a nice percentage gain. So that's what I'm looking for on DJT. It has been coming right back down. This one's not gonna start moving like a whole bunch until the election starts coming closer and closer. So that's what I'll be looking for on DJT. JMIA breaking our resistance. I actually was gonna play it right here. We see that. Unfortunately, I was on vacation, and as soon as I went on vacation, I was gonna play it. Boom to that upside. So we're gonna see how JMIA reacts to this resistance of $13.60, and then I do have support here at $10.50. So just watch these two on Juma Technologies. They do have a lot of upside to go, and they have been making higher highs, right? So just gonna want to for a retracement back down possibly before we start getting shares or options to the upside again, right? Micron Technologies, finding our support at 108.50, right? Kind of finding our support. If they do break this support, we could see Micron down to $94, perhaps between $100 and $94 if they start breaking this support to that downside. So that's what I see on Micron Technologies. They do have that resistance of 121. So that's that on Micron. We'll go to AVGO now. Broadcom, trading with a lot of eyes on it currently. I have support there at 149.75. They had this split here, this stock split, which made their prices lower. Once again, does not affect the equity ownership that you have. You just get more shares. So, and the resistance that I have here is at 165.50. So 165.50 resistance on Broadcom. You're just going to want to watch out for that and see if this support holds or not, because it could come down even more, because this is at all-time high. Broadcom could come down even more, somewhere into the 130 levels. This 130 level is another support. If this one breaks, I could start trading it to that 130 level on the downside, and that'll be like minus 30% from that all-time highs. And yeah, that's what I see on the overall stock sector. I like to focus on these main option plays, because that's what I'm doing in the mornings for an hour to 2 hours in the mornings. I'm focusing on these main option plays in the S&P 500. I'm looking to see if there's correlation, which support and resistances are holding, breaking, the most optimal plays. You only need to play one play per day. That's all you need. You don't want to overtrade, give back no profits. You're trading to learn the skill of trading, not to get the money. That's a huge thing you got to remember. Trading is a skill, and it's not all about the money. So I'm going to leave the video there. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be right back on Monday with another video. Thank you.